On the interstate or on any road for that matter in Indiana, wearing a seatbelt is a requirement. It may be inconvenient, but it could save your life. But when riding on a school bus, the law is different. News 18's Brittany Tyner reports even so, when an area school bus flipped on the interstate this spring, most were wearing seatbelts. Brittany?
And thanks to those seatbelts, Dan, injuries were minor. In a special series over the next 2 nights, News 18 explores why most children are not strapped in while going to and from school and what it will take to give everyone a safer ride. The images from May 16th.
I saw road sign flying by.
Tough to watch.
I saw dirt clods flying by.
But for someone on board,
At that moment, I braced myself.
she couldn't prepare herself for what was about to happen.
I felt the front left end of the bus kind of dig into the median, and that's when it began its roll.
Just moments earlier, a group of Glass students, teachers, and chaperones was heading home from a fun-filled day at the Indianapolis Zoo. Jolie Ron was sitting near her 6-year-old daughter Murphy, resting her eyes after the long day, when she suddenly felt the Lafayette School Corporation bus fishtail. All she saw was a flash of white.
I quickly closed my eye again because I didn't want to see what was going on. Really, I did not want to see that. And then as soon as I closed my eye again, we fishtailed to the right, and we must have fishtailed a couple more times.
Jolie says she felt the bus shudder, then could only hold on as it completely flipped in the I-65 median. She says it all happened in slow motion, and in that moment, she noticed something eerie. Silence.
Nobody on the bus screamed. I never heard anybody. Maybe they were saying things, but I just never heard it.
Jolie immediately checked to see she wasn't seriously injured, then checked on Murphy.
She had folded herself in half like a clam, and so it was kind of hard to assess her, but I heard her crying, and she was moving, so I felt she was fine. Just by observation and being her mother, I could tell that she was all right.
Jolie and Murphy, along with 4 more special needs children and 6 more adults, were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Jolie says the only reason the injuries weren't worse, seat belts.
And we could have had some serious injuries and maybe possibly fatality or 2.
Superintendent Les Huddle says all the children and most of the adults were wearing seat belts. He agrees seat belts played a key role in keeping the injuries minor. He says the crash caused the corporation to rework its field trip procedures. Now, adults will need to provide emergency contact information too.
If that emergency contact was one of the other riders on the bus, we didn't have that second and third person in line that we needed to contact.
Plus, Huddle says the corporation now has an emergency kit filled with contact information that the responding administrator can take with them. State police believe a white box truck or van forced the bus off I-65. That driver did not stop, but Jolie will never forget the people who did stop to help.
I guess they were just focused and they had to do something because this was just totally unreal.
Unreal to know that despite these images, seatbelts kept this a safe ride for her and her daughter. So why don't all school buses have seatbelts? Tomorrow, in part 2 of A Safer Ride, I speak with lawmakers about why it hasn't happened yet and if the LSC crash moves lawmakers forward on the issue. Brittany Tyner, News 18.